Welcome to this special edition of the Scooby Panel. I'm your host, Nikki Blake, and I'm joined by Wendy Brydge and Joel. And today we're talking about the SNL skit that aired May 18th, 2024. The skit had a title card, and it was titled Scooby-Doo and the Mystery of the Shadow Phantom. It was written by Colin Yost and Mikey Day. Mike Diva was the film unit director. Andrea Persigliotti was the film unit production designer. Emily Genender was the film unit producer and the eyes behind the painting. And Louis Zakarian was the makeup artist. The skit featured Jake Gyllenhaal as Fred, Sabrina Carpenter as Daphne, Sarah Sherman as Velma, Mikey Day as Shaggy, Andrew Dismukes as the voice of Scooby, and Kenan Thompson as the police officer. So it was a 3-minute skit, and so much happened in that 3 minutes. Wendy, what were your thoughts on the SNL skit?
Oh, I went through so many different versions of what I wanted to say about this. And luckily for everybody watching, they're going to get the very mellowed down version now that I've settled down a little bit after having to live with this for a little while. And let's start on a positive note, okay? When it started and up until everything went to crap, it was fantastic. The set design, the work that went into producing this and the details, the backgrounds and stuff, everything, A++ for the effort that went into making what looked really, really great for a short period of time. You sent the link to Joel and I with no context. I didn't know what it was when I clicked on it, had no idea. And my initial thought when I saw what it was before I watched it though was, oh great, here we go. But then they catfished us all for a little while. And like I say, it was pretty good. And then we went into some alternate universe where there was blood and violence and gore, and then there was more blood and violence and gore, and then there was more blood, violence, and gore. And I don't have a problem with blood, violence, and gore. But number one, it has its place. Number two, as soon as you cross over between something that makes sense for what you're doing and gratuitous, anytime something becomes gratuitous, that's lazy writing, in my opinion, with anything. So is there a place for violence in things? Yes. Is there a place for blood and gore in things? Yes. If you are using it gratuitously, I would suggest that maybe you need to spend a little bit more time with your writing. So I know that a lot of people really, really liked it. And instead of coming on here tonight and ripping a strip off of everybody, which is what I wanted to do, the actual emotion that I feel over this after looking up some articles that sort of collected some thoughts from people across the internet and what they thought of the skit. And after reading all of those, I realized that I am just terribly disappointed in everyone and kind of in humanity as a whole. I did a couple of quotes from different websites that were picking up what people were saying. Someone on Bloody Disgusting said, we're going to need a whole series like this. Someone says, you got to love the darker take on the Scooby-Doo gang, even if it is humor-laden. An adult live-action Scooby-Doo film or series could go hard. Just because Velma couldn't do the concept doesn't mean we can't try again. Very good sketch. Sabrina was very funny. This peaked for me for real. Best skit that they have since ever, with an extra R on it. Don't know if that was deliberate or not. And an R-rated live-action Scooby-Doo project has been a long-time wish of fans. The latest project under the franchise, Velma, was heavily criticized by the public. I am very confused why so many people have a problem with Velma and they thought this was the second coming. Because I haven't really watched any of Velma except the trailer, but I've certainly heard enough people talk about it. Seems like the skit was worse as far as what was being done. So I don't understand where people are coming from, even with their opinion of this skit, because I definitely saw, even just in other circles, I feel like I saw more people who were pro the skit than anti the skit. Whereas with Velma, it's very much the opposite. The majority of people that I have seen are ragging on the series rather than saying that it was any good. So I would love for someone to explain to me why Velma wasn't okay, but this was, when this really like took it too far. And I get it. People don't care if it's Scooby, and they don't care if it's for kids because they want to make everything their own. They're very selfish. Everything needs to be about me and for me. I don't go along with that. I don't ascribe to that. And I really think that people should maybe like ask themselves, why would you find something like that entertaining? Taking characters that have a certain persona and a franchise that is very much PG and suitable for everyone. And what is it in human beings that is driving them to be like, I want to see that down and dirty and gross and cutting people's heads off and ripping their skin off? Why? We really need to start asking ourselves that question. Like, what is it about seeing something wholesome and making it filthy? Like, what is that the human race is like in love with? I don't think we should be surprised. In ancient times, I mean, they used to drag people into the Colosseum and everyone would cheer while they got ripped apart by lions, and that was their entertainment. So I'm not surprised, but I mean, you kind of hope that in, 1,000 years or so that we progress as a society and as human beings. Clearly we haven't, but yeah, disappointed. I was angry at first and disgusted, but now I'm just, all I feel is disappointment that this was not met with more negative feedback. Because yeah, the production value was great, props for your set design, but what you did was trash. And I think that everyone involved like should be ashamed, honestly. At some point I think that you need to have like standards for yourself, and you need to like stick by them and stick by your convictions. And if someone offered me $10 million to take part in something like that, I would say no, because I don't agree with how that was portrayed. And not only would I be, degrading Scooby's integrity, I'd be degrading my own too, just by participating in it. So yeah, very, very disappointed with the skit.
Joel, what were your thoughts on the skit?
Wendy's a tough act to follow. I wasn't as angry with it. I think because I did like the first 90 seconds. I think I loved the first 90 seconds. I just wished it ended there. But I guess I'm not like a huge SNL fan, but I've probably watched it I watched the Prime stuff. Like I watched all the classics, and then I watched up to Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, like Wayne's World stuff as a teenager, and then I kind of stopped watching. And so I saw this more as like an SNL skit than a Scooby skit, so it didn't bother me. I know where Wendy's coming from, totally. Like from a Scooby fan, it should bother me, but as an SNL fan, I'm like, well, this is just for loser teenagers who have nothing to do on a Saturday night, right? Low-hanging fruit kind of deal going on. They're appealing to them. If I saw this as a teenager, I don't know if I'd like it or not. I was a pretty dumb teenager, so I'm thinking I might have thought it was awesome, because then everyone would be interested in Scooby-Doo again. But yeah, going from what Wendy said, just springboarding off that, I do not want an R-rated Scooby-Doo. I don't want to see any more of this kind of Scooby-Doo. Maybe I didn't hate it as much because I did watch Velma, and maybe Velma kind of prepped me for this. I don't know. I did hate the last like line of the skit. I thought that was like really lazy writing, because they went for a really cheap laugh. I know with SNL, because I've read like books and stuff on people who've worked on SNL, they don't have a lot of time to write stuff. Like they do their show on Saturday, they're back in the office on Monday. From Monday to Wednesday, they're scrambling to get skits together. Thursday, Friday, they rehearse it. Saturday, they're live. It's just boom, 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 boom. So I can understand maybe why they kind of just went for what's going to make the audience laugh. But overall, I don't see this being the best SNL skit ever. I don't see it, other than the production value, being memorable. Like, I don't think in 2 years' time we're going to even remember this happened. Like, it's just going to fade. I don't think society is going to remember it. Maybe that's why I'm not so angry about it. I think Scooby fans will keep talking about Velma for like, I know I'm going to log on to YouTube in 10 years and I'm going to see some video saying Velma was underappreciated and ahead of its time. And it's going to be like video essay on it. It's like 3 hours long and I'm going to hate my life. I'm just going to want to log it in my life at that point. But this, I don't think anyone's going to talk about in like 2 to 10 years.
Except I'm going to add it to my history. So on May 18th, every year, you're going to see that.
I will mark in my Google Calendar not to log on to social media, and I won't see it. Setting an alert.
I looked at it from, like Joel said, it being an SNL skit and not, because it wasn't an official Scooby-Doo thing. So I saw it in a different way than if this had been an official Scooby-Doo thing, I would have been like, no, not cool. Like, the first, part of it was amazing, like spot on Scooby-Doo. Like Wendy said, the set was incredible. They had all the Scooby-Doo elements, so people were obviously Scooby fans. They knew just what to put in there to make it Scooby. The unmasking, when they ripped his face off, I kind of thought that was funny. I was like, all right, a double unmasking gone wrong. Like, okay, fine. Yeah, that can be funny. And Shaggy getting his arm torn off in the bookcase. All right, little slightly funny. Okay. When Velma got decapitated, like, they lost me there. From that point on, I was just like, what the hell? Like, none of the rest of it was funny at all. Like, they just took it to a whole unnecessary level. And yeah, had they just done, maybe ripping off his face and Shaggy's arm and just kind of like ended it somehow there, then all right, I would have been like, all right, yeah, that was funny. I don't think it's great. I mean, I'm not like, I'm not an SNL fan. Like Joel, I haven't watched SNL for so long, not since it was actually good. But I could have found the humor in it, but once they started taking it too far, then it's just like, okay, you're none of this is necessary. Like, you've taken it too far and you've completely lost me. And then that last line, I was just like, no, you could have done something so much better with the last line, but no.
Yeah.
If you guys watch the behind the scenes thing, I guess it could have been worse because Velma, Scooby, and Keenan were all supposed to have their faces ripped off. I don't understand how that could have happened, but yeah. The behind the scenes thing was interesting. It was interesting to see how they did things and that they only had one night to put the set together. But yeah, they took it too far.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been an SNL fan because I've never found it funny, but like, especially now, like what people find humorous, I'm just like, I must be completely devoid of a sense of humor, because the things that people find funny today, I'm just like, there's nothing humorous about this. Even imagining this skit with just generic characters, like not Scooby, so there would be nothing like to be offended by, I would still be like, it's not funny for me. It's not funny. And I'm super disappointed also in the fact that, like, where's the humor writers today? I see stand-up comedians, I see all of these like comedy shows, and I'm just like, I just sit there and I'm like, it's not funny. It's not funny. Guys, like write something funny. Original Scooby was funny, and they weren't even trying that hard to make it funny. And that was kind of why it was humorous, is that they were not, I mean, yes, I get it. It was supposed to be a fun show with humor in it, but the humor is incidental. They're not forcing it. And now today the humor is forced with everything, and I don't know. I'm honestly curious how many people actually find this crap funny, or they've just been sort of conditioned that they're being told it's funny by certain people or a certain group or a certain whatever, and they're just going along with it. You see people eating certain foods and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing ever." And I'm like, "It tastes like garbage." Prior to like 20 years ago, no one would have touched that with a 10-foot pole, and now you think it's like God's gift to mankind. Do you actually like the taste of it? Or has it become some kind of like, you need to like it to be like socially accepted or to be one of the cool kids? You know, I kind of feel like, I'm sure it's always been this way, but I'm just noticing it more now because I think it's being promoted more. The world is like one giant high school class. High school never ended. The world is still full of cliques, and if you are not full of part of this clique, you're not cool. If you don't go along with what that clique likes, you're not cool. And the way that most people are in high school, I feel like the majority of people out there are still like desperately needing acceptance from groups of people that, like, who cares? They're losers. They think that they're better than everybody else, but they're losers. Why do you need to be accepted by them? Why do you even want to be in their clique? And so I would encourage people, like, think for yourself. If just because everybody else is laughing, if you don't find it funny, that's okay. And I don't think that people realize that. I think they've sort of just been brainwashed. Like, if you're sitting in a room and everybody starts laughing, I better start laughing too because I'm gonna look weird. No, it's okay. I'll look weird. That's totally fine. I thought it was interesting. TV Line did an article. There were two different articles. So on May the 18th, when the skit aired, they ranked by readers on TV Line all of the episodes of SNL from this season. And the Scooby episode ranked number 7 out of 20 episodes, and readers on TV Line rated it 82 out of 100, which was like a B+. In the other article, they were talking just about the Scooby skit. And in the reader poll, like, they gave it like an A, B, C, D, or F was what you could, it was just like a quick little poll. And 50.69% gave the episode an A for excellent, and only 4.75% graded the episode an F for fail. And I thought that was very, again, if you love the skit so much, why is everybody not fawning over Velma? I want someone to explain it to me.
I think the difference is that Velma is more like official Scooby-Doo, even though people say it's not Scooby-Doo, it is. Whereas the skit was Saturday Night Live and not officially Scooby.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the difference is. Because like I said, I looked at it differently because it wasn't Scooby-Doo. Like, had Warner Brothers put that out, I would have been like, oh, hell no. But, you know, and like I said, it was okay until Velma got her head cut off. And then I was like, no, you've done it. I'm done. Even my son said they took it too far. So, Joel, any thoughts on the behind the scenes or any other thoughts on the skit?
I've had all sorts of thoughts. They all just kind of escape my head. I think too, maybe like Velma is 20 minutes of this times 20 episodes. So this is just like a 3-minute skit. So it's kind of does its thing and it's gone, but Velma just keeps going and going and going and doesn't, it's just too much. It just pummels you, and it's I don't know. I won't go on about Velma. I've only watched 4 episodes and I was getting nauseous. Just for how long it's just bad. What I saw. Um, what else? Humor too, it's subjective. Speaking of clicks, like the popular people usually are the most people with anxiety, with the most fears. So just be confident in yourself. Just respect your opinion, respect other people's opinions. I don't know where I'm going with that. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to make a comment like, yeah, what we think is popular or people we think are popular really are the most self-loathing. As a bartender, I know I've seen popular people, they drink a lot because they have a lot of fears. They have to be always on and stuff. And don't try and be like those people, you know, don't try and be popular. Just be yourself without being an asshole. Um, yeah, I had other things to say, but yeah, they've all escaped me.
I think the biggest thing is that people want to see Scooby, and it doesn't matter what you do with it, they're going to like it because it's Scooby. You know, look
Yeah.
at the reunion special. People loved it. And I still don't understand why, because it was totally not Scooby.
Well, who are these people though? Like, is it casual? Is it fans? Is it just,
There are some fans that I saw that thought the reunion special was amazing.
yeah, maybe
So
they're just hungry for Scooby content.
I think that's it. I think it's if they can get Scooby content, because that means that Scooby is going to continue no matter what the content is, they're happy to see it.
And you might just like it in the moment, and then a month later, you might be like, what was I thinking? A year later,
Right.
same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, this probably will not go over well with a lot of people, but like I'm not pointing anybody out. I'm not even thinking of anybody in particular. It's just a general comment on things, but yeah, when it comes to things where like, oh, long time wish of fans to have the R-rated Scooby, and fans want this and fans say that and fans have been waiting, and I'm like, okay, yeah. Fans of what? And I think that people are confused and don't realize that there is a difference between I am a fan of this property and what it is, and I'm a fan of crap that I like. And if something from this property happens to be crap that I like, for right now, I like this property. But it's not the property that you're a fan of. You're just a fan of whatever you like in the moment. So I think a lot of these people we're calling them Scooby-Doo fans, and I would argue, no, you're not a Scooby-Doo fan. You are a fan of things that you like, and once in a while, Scooby happens to be something that you like. Because no one is ever going to talk me out of this. If you truly, to be a fan of something, you need to love it. And if you love something, the integrity of it will matter to you. So when you see people and they don't care what you do to Scooby as long as there's something for them to enjoy, that kind of tells me that it's not about Scooby for you. It could be anything, and as long as you liked it, you'd be a fan. I don't know, because again, like in previous panels, we've kind of like touched on this, like make Scooby and the gang real people. And now, do you still feel the same way about what we do to them? Do you still not care if you take a character that's a real person and you just totally, completely throw everything that makes them who they are out the window? I mean, for a society that prides itself in 2024 on being yourself and, that's okay, and that we need to protect people's rights to be whatever they are and whatever they want to be, why are we not extending that to things like Scooby? Why is Scooby exempt from that? Why are characters and intellectual property that is fictional, why is that not a part of this. Because if you're offended by real people being told, yeah, I don't really like you like this, so we're going to make you like this instead, or you need to be this instead of that. I mean, either it works for everybody or it doesn't work for anyone. And this idea of like picking and choosing, it's a huge double standard. It's very hypocritical. And just because Scooby and the gang are not, quote, real people doesn't mean that they should not be treated with the same level of respect. Because in a sense, they are real because some real person created them and created them in a certain way. And I think that by taking them and making them do things that they would not do the way that they were created is very disrespectful. And I think it's just as disrespectful as if you take a real live person and you tell them, yeah, I don't like what you are, and I'm going to make you this instead. It's not okay for real people. It's not okay for fictional people either, because it's the principle of it. People need to take their blinders off and like look at the whole picture, the principle of why things are, of what things are, of how things are, because a principle can be applied across the board to many different things. And people are getting really hung up on just like this one detail. Oh, it's this cartoon dog. It's not about the cartoon dog. It's about everything behind that. Why? Why are you doing this? Why do you like this? Why is this okay to you? But that over there, which is in principle exactly the same thing, it's not okay over there. So I kind of wish that everyone would just maybe like grow a backbone, pick a side for we're going to respect people or we're not, and then respect everybody for what they are and quit trying to change everybody, whether they're real or they're fictional.
I do think it's weird that everybody, and I don't know who everybody is, but everybody wants a rated R Scooby. It's a show made for kids. Who looks at cartoon characters made for kids and says, hey, let's put them in some really adult situations and see what happens? It just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe it's because I have kids. Like, I wouldn't want my kids to stumble on Velma if they were like little kids thinking, oh, I know Velma. She's in with Scooby-Doo. I want to watch this. And then, yeah, that'd be bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, again, not everything needs to be for everybody.
Right.
It's okay. If something is not to your taste, find something else. But don't try and change the thing. Go do your own version of it to your taste. Or leave it for, whatever. Are we going to start saying that, oh, it's suddenly become, this is a ridiculous thing, but it's valid. If all of the adults suddenly decided that there was nothing more gourmet than jarred baby food, and all of the restaurants started buying up all of the baby food off of the shelves to make like $1,000 gourmet meals for ridiculous adults, and then there was not enough supply for actual babies to have baby food, that would be an issue. And the adults are standing there, if they're standing there saying, well, but if the kids can have it, then we want to have it too. Everyone would be like, are you insane? Where is your brain right now? Eat something else. If there's not enough food to go around and the food is made for the babies, we don't care if you like the taste of it or not, or you think it's better than what you eat. What are you doing? It's the same principle. You don't have, not everything. You don't have to have everything. Not everything needs to be for you. You don't need to participate in everything. It's fine. If those people want to eat that, or they want to participate in that, or they want to go there and do this thing, let them. And if there's something over here that you want to go and do, go do it. But this idea of like, no, everything has to be made for everybody, and we're not going to rest until everyone can do that. That doesn't work. And I know it doesn't work because as soon as you take Scooby, a kid's property, and you make it adult, now it's not for the kids anymore. Scooby as a children's property can be for adults, but it doesn't work the other way around. As soon as you make it adult, now you have made it so that the kids can't watch it. And where is your inclusion there? It's gone. So what they're trying to do, it doesn't even make sense, but nobody wants to look at it from the principle. So everyone's just like, man, whatever. If I want it, I'm going to take it and I'm going to do what I want with it. Well, it's not for me.
The last thing I want to talk about is CGI Scooby. What did you think of him, Joel?
I think it looked great. I liked it. It was for a TV show, for a little skit. I liked it better than the movie, the Scooby-Doo movie 1 and 2. It wasn't like perfect or nothing, but for what it was, looked good to me. Mind you, I watched it on like a cell phone too, so maybe it looked worse blown up.
Wendy, what did you think of CGI Scooby?
Yeah, it was okay. I wasn't crazy about the voice, but I mean, it was just a guy doing it. So, I mean, props to you for trying. But it was fine. Like Joel said, I think it looked better than the one that they did in the live action movies. So that's saying something. I mean, it's one check mark for the skit, I guess.
I thought they did a good job with him too, considering the short amount of time that they probably had to put the whole thing together. I thought that Scooby was probably the best part of it until, you know, he pulled out a gun and shot Fred. But yeah. Anyway, we're going to wrap things up. So let us know what you thought of the skit, because we're interested to know your thoughts, and have we swayed you in a different direction or not? And thank you for joining us for this special edition of the Scooby Panel.